We've all seen the Brad Pitt physique in Fight Club, James Bond in Casino Royale, Patrick Bateman in American Psycho, shit, you name it. And I believe every man wants to build this aesthetic type of physique, and it's genuinely one of the best things you can do for your self-improvement as a man. Now, just to be clear, this video is not a shortcut. This is not a quick way to get abs. Oh, how to get jacked in 2 weeks. This is about building long-term sustainable habits. This is the exact routine I've used to build my physique over the last 6 months. Because for me personally, training is the backbone of my life. I believe that the way that you do one thing is the way that you do everything, and a strong body is going to create a strong mind. And not just because of the physique, like that part is great, it'll make you more attractive, it'll make you more respected, but because of the man, it forces you to become, the adversity you have to go through, the challenges you have to face. It's all about learning to conquer yourself through pain and come out of the other side of it a different man. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the first thing I really want to drill into your head is the anti-shortcut method. I saw a very worrying statistic the other day that 95% of people who try to get in shape end up quitting. And it got me thinking, okay, why are there so many people who end up doing this? And how can you actually avoid being one of those people who give up early on their journey? And when I think about it, right, you see so many people who they start going to the gym and they say, oh, like, I'm gonna lose 50 pounds in 3 weeks. Oh, I'm gonna get jacked in a month. Oh, I'm gonna get 6-pack abs in 20 minutes. And it's like, that is not how fitness works. That advice is just really shitty. It'll get you to click, it's clickbaity, it sounds good, but in reality, the truth is that progress takes time, okay? And for every man, it's gonna be slightly different. Maybe, if you're super overweight, it's gonna take you a bit longer. If you're skinny fat and you're not like super overweight, yeah, you can get in great shape in like 3 to 6 months. But regardless, whatever your timeline is, you have to understand it's going to take time. And the way that I want you to think about your journey is you are playing the long game, okay? You aren't in it for quick fixes. You're in this shit for life. Because think about it this way, right? If you said to yourself, I'm gonna hit the gym a few times every week, I'm gonna eat cleaner, I'm gonna train hard, will you eventually succeed? Yes. Of course you will, because it's literally fucking science. If you train hard, you eat less food, you fucking go hard in the gym, you are going to make progress, I guarantee you. But the only version of you who doesn't make progress is the version of you who quits, the version of you who gives up, the version of you who's been training for a week, for 2 weeks, doesn't see progress and says, oh, well, I guess I'll just quit because I'm not seeing progress. Fuck that, bro. The mindset you gotta have is I am in this for life. And if I stick to my routine, if I do the things I have to do, I control the variables I can, I will eventually build my dream physique. It's a guarantee. You will do it, but only if you play the long game and you just simply don't quit. So with that being said, okay, let's get into my exact training routine. So I've experimented with a lot of routines, and for me personally, the routine I have seen the most success with is a 5-day upper, lower, push, pull, then legs and arms half day. That's what I've seen the most results with. And the reason why is because early in the week, your upper and lower workouts, those are very strength focused. In those workouts, you're focused on getting your highest lifts for the week, where you're really going hard on those compound movements, the bench presses, the squats, the deadlifts, right? All these compound movements, you're really focusing on going heavier to make sure you're actually growing muscle over time. Then the 3 lifts later in the week, your push, pull, then legs and arms half day, right? You're focusing on really more of the aesthetic portions. And you're still training for aesthetics on every day, but those later days are much more aesthetic focused. And if you're asking, okay, why do I split legs and arms? There's a couple reasons why. Number one, I'm actually recovering from a bit of a hamstring injury right now. So I don't do 2 full leg days. I do 1 full leg day and then 1 like half leg day to make sure I'm not overtraining my legs so I don't get injured again. But also for me, like the arms are just a focus, because I think a lot of workout splits actually undertrain arms. Like if you just do push pull legs, you're probably not going to be training your arms enough, right? So I add in that extra arm day to make sure that I'm hitting them a lot, because your arms, like, it's the one muscle that is almost always showing, right? Like you want to have a big chest, you want to have big shoulders, that stuff is all super important, but your arms are always going to be visible in almost anything that you wear, so you really want to focus on those. And some other muscles I'm making sure to hit very often are my shoulders and my neck. My shoulders, I hit after pretty much every upper day, because what's very important is building that golden triangle ratio where your shoulders are wider than your waist. And part of that is also your back, training your back, but really focusing on the lateral delts, going for high reps, hitting a lot of reps with, somewhat like moderate weight is really what's going to grow those shoulders and give you that like superhero type physique look. And for the neck, it's also actually a very underrated muscle. I know like 90% of people don't train neck, but when you have a big upper body and you have a super skinny neck, it's going to make you look like very off and like somewhat feminine. So you got to make sure that you train your neck, right? Because again, just like arms, it's one of those muscles that's almost always visible. And for neck, I personally do some neck curls and some neck extensions. And for neck, I just hit it twice a week, and that seems to get it pretty good. So now we got the lifting side of things down, all right? The next thing you have to do, and you cannot skimp out on, is your cardio. Your cardio is super important, not just for looking leaner, not just for, actually shredding fat, but also for just feeling generally better about yourself. I mean, if you're just sat inside all day, fucking watching YouTube and Instagram, playing video games, not getting outside, you're not gonna feel as good about yourself. You're not gonna have as much energy. Your testosterone's gonna tank because you're living a sedentary lifestyle. So it's very important for my cardio. What I do personally is I get 10,000 steps every single day. It's like a non-negotiable in my life. That is something that I do not miss, because I notice when I don't get my 10K steps in, like my fucking energy and everything tanks. So you get your 10K steps. Then also on top of that, okay, my philosophy on cardio is you want to make it enjoyable. I think like the treadmill stuff and the bike, like that all can help, but think about it. You're going to do your cardio much more regularly and you're going to stick to it much more if you make it fun. So for me personally, I like going on hikes. I like playing basketball. I like going for bike rides. I like doing things that actually include a fun element compared to just walking on the fucking treadmill for 60 minutes. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing the treadmill. You can still do that. It's a good way to get your steps in. But I think personally, you'll be much more consistent if you find a way to make cardio fun through whether playing a sport, through going on hikes, getting outside, just doing things to make that experience more enjoyable. So now we've gone over the routine for the most part, like the things you have to know to actually build that aesthetic physique. But like we talked about earlier, 95% of people end up failing and they don't hit their goals. So it's good to talk about all this stuff, like what can we do to improve, what can we add in, but the fact of the matter is you have to understand why most people fail so you don't actually quit on your journey, because like we said, not quitting is the most important thing. So what are some of the reasons that most people quit? Well, like we talked about earlier, they try to, make too much progress too quick, they burn out and they give up. So that's number one, but we already talked about that quite a bit, so I won't go too in depth on that. But what's also very, very important is the recovery and like nutrition, testosterone area of things. Because the reality is, okay, if you're training super hard in the gym, but you're not sleeping, you're not recovering, you're not eating healthy, you're going to be leaving like 50% of your gains on the table. And when I say that, I'm not even joking, okay? One of the main things that I did that made so much more progress was, training harder and going harder in the gym and not, making my workouts easy, but also locking in the sleep, locking in my testosterone, eating healthier, eating clean. Because you got to think not only how do I train harder, but how do I train more efficiently? And you're going to build muscle so much faster if you do these things. Because if you're eating a bunch of shit food, you're not sleeping, you're tanking your hormones, you're tanking your testosterone, and you are not going to make as much muscle as the version of you who actually is sleeping clean. And when I think about it this way, it's like, fuck, my mom used to always tell me that sleep was important. Your mom's probably done the same thing. I wish she would have told me that sleeping more will make you more jacked, will make you have more energy, will make you feel better about yourself. If I would have known this shit, man, I would have been sleeping better way earlier on. So understand, all this recovery shit, it's not just, it's not just something that you maybe do. It is a fucking non-negotiable. You have to get your 8 hours of sleep. You have to eat whole, clean foods, and you have to recover efficiently. Now, when I say to be disciplined, when I say to go to sleep early, when I say to eat clean, am I saying you can't ever have some fun? No, because I think some people take the gym way too fucking seriously. Okay, I think the gym's important. I think fitness is a great aspect of life. I love fitness. It's my passion. It's something I love speaking about. But I also like having fun. I like going out with my family and getting a cheeseburger every now and then. I like taking a girl out on a date and getting an ice cream. I like staying out late and going out and having some fun every now and then. So, my philosophy on this stuff is okay, it's the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, you're being disciplined. On your day-to-day routine, you're eating clean, you're recovering, you're doing all the right things. Then every now and then, right, 20% of the time, when you take a girl out on a date and you want to get an ice cream, don't be that fucking guy who goes, oh, well, actually, I can't get ice cream because it's against my diet. Don't go out with your family and go, oh, yeah, well, I can't get a cheeseburger because I'm dieting. It's like, shut the fuck up, bro. Like, fitness is supposed to be part of your life, okay? Not your whole life. And it's okay to enjoy yourself every now and then. As long as you're doing the right things most of the time, you can do those things and have no shame about it because you know that you're putting in the work when you have to. And the next reason why so many people fail is because they're simply not training hard enough. Like, I'll go to the gym every now and then, and I'll see a guy who's just like, been training there for the last 5 months and hasn't really made any progress. And you look at his workouts and it's like every time he's just doing the same weight, not training that hard, going, oh yeah, feel the burn, put the weight down, and just stop. But the reality is, okay, if you want to make progress, you got to fucking train hard. Like, you got to get to the point where your muscles are literally going till failure, till you can't push it anymore. Like, I'll put an example on the screen really quick. And if you're not training this way, okay, you're taking the easy way out and you are leaving so many gains on the table. So don't be the guy who leaves gains on the table. Be the guy who gets the most out of every single one of his workouts. And if you do that, you will maximize your progress compared to the guy who takes the easy way out. And the final reason, okay, why so many people quit is they don't have accountability. When I first started going to the gym, it was back when I was in high school, when I would train with my high school football team. And every single day, I knew that if I did not show up to my workouts, I would get called out for it. Like, my friends would give me shit. My coach would say, hey man, like, why didn't you go to your workout today? And having that accountability was so huge for me to build good habits and actually, get to the point where I was going consistently. Now, with this being said, am I saying that you have to have people to go with? Not necessarily. You can hold yourself accountable. You can show up and you can, be hard on yourself. You can absolutely do it by yourself without going with other people. But if you're a guy who you've been trying for a while, you've been trying to get in shape, and you just haven't been able to stick to your routine, you don't have an effort problem. You don't have a motivation problem. You have an accountability problem. For you personally, the issue is that you don't have anybody holding accountable. You can't hold yourself accountable, and you don't have anybody else in your corner helping you out. So with that being said, if you're at a spot right now where you want to take your fitness journey more seriously, you want to get in the best shape of your life, you want to build that dream physique, and you're just struggling with staying consistent, feel free to go book a free call with me in the description down below, and we can chat and see how we can get you started on your journey to achieving your dream physique and achieving your goals. And if not, right, still take the things you learned from this video and do them on your own. And you can absolutely make the progress, right, doing it on your own. But if you want that like advanced blueprint, you want some help, you want some assistance, feel free to reach out, bro. And I'd love to work with you and get you help to achieving your goals. So yeah, with that being said, bro, whatever you do, don't fucking quit. Don't give up. Don't be the guy who throws in the white towel, who folds, who quits, who gives up. Because I guarantee you, if you stick to your goals, you hit your routine, you do the things you have to do, 6 months from now, you will look back and you will be so proud of how much progress you have made. But that is only if you stick to it, and only if you do the uncomfortable things, you do the hard things, even when you don't necessarily feel like doing it. So yeah, I hope you found this video helped, and I'll see you for the next video, bro.